Beef here. Beef, how you doing, buddy?
Hey guys, I'm doing great. I'm looking forward to another awesome days of Heroes of Newerth as esports in general. Got TI3 going on as well. Was just tuning into that. But
What
right
is
now we got
that?
a pretty awesome match on our hands.
Yeah, we do. We definitely have a good best of the three ahead of us, and looking forward to these two teams. Obviously, bringing some awesome competition. Now, I don't know if you got the chance to watch it yesterday, but we actually had a third place match between Justice League
Yeah.
and Youngo Euchers, and that actually turned out to pretty damn entertaining as well. So we'll see if today can maybe live up to the hype. But of course, Youngo Euchers upsetting, I think you could even say, Justice League yesterday. So that was fun to watch. We'll see about today though. So.
We will see. I mean, yeah, yesterday with Justice League, they were running that ringer, and they actually looked a lot stronger this morning when they got booked back finally. But
Yeah.
this one, the grand finals, it's going to come down to the top seed here coming out of the qualifiers, and both these teams very much so looking for an easier match going into this weekend's Cycle 1.
Yes, with that said, the teams are ready. In fact, we are already now in the drafting stage. Ladies and gentlemen, let's jump in here to game number one. Pain Train taking on Nice Prize Pool. So here we are in this game. Yeah, every single time. Just, they're complementing the prize pool of the tournaments. Nothing wrong with that. Good guys over here. Good guys over here. No, so obviously with Captain's pick here, again, just to reiterate what they're playing for, at least with the qualifier's sake, they're playing for the ninth and 10th seed, if I'm correct. Yeah, because the top 8 teams obviously already getting invited. So they're basically playing for the ninth and 10th place seed, as you said, to maybe make their matchup a little bit easier. But really, in the end, I mean, it's going to be a tough matchup. I mean, you're going to be playing one of those invited teams. So it's just not like it's going to be that much easier.
Yeah.
So.
It's basically you're either going to end up playing the Locomotives or Team Excellent, depending on which year. And I mean,
Yeah.
those are some pretty dang strong teams. Wouldn't want to have to face either one of them myself, but at least getting some additional points as well. I think like 50 additional points for the top team here as opposed to number 2. So
True.
probably not super significant in the long run of things, but we'll see
something.
how it comes down to it.
And hey, they're on HoNcast, and if anything, always want to win. These are competitors after all, so.
Oh, yeah.
I think we definitely saw that yesterday again in the third place match. Both teams definitely playing to win, and it was a lot of fun to watch. Anyways, we're in this match here. We are moving along pretty nicely. We got the banning stage. We had Rally, Ophelia, Fade, Keeper of the Forest coming out here. So a couple of junglers mixing with our Rally, Fade. Parasite, Pebbles, Engineer, Deadwood is so far how the picks have gone. So Pebbles and Deadwood being picked up over here by our Hellborn side. And on top of that, Rally still seems like, even with that nerf to him, he is just very ban-worthy, if not first pick worthy in a lot of cases for all these teams here.
Yeah, he definitely, I mean, just the strength of the Compel, the level 1 push book, people talk about that one constantly, and it just really is super, super strong. So people not wanting to address that hero, but already plenty of initiators coming out. Like you said, Bubble's going to be picked up here as a solo for the Legion team as well. And so, I mean, getting already a jungler, a solo, and a support, they're going to be looking for those initiators. But with Pebbles and Deadwood already out of there, Rally being banned, you're going to be looking at some of those more second-tier initiators. There's a ban on Lodestone as well, so maybe something like Magnus. Nope, that one's gone too.
Going to be taken out as soon as you say that. War Beast, the follow-up band, so moving along pretty nicely here when it comes down to it. And looking forward especially, again, with this being the finals here, and two very quality teams going at it. But you know what ultimately is on the line, not the absolute biggest deal. So maybe willing to kind of stretch it out a little bit. And both these teams, too, definitely have the potential to be pretty fun teams in the end. Obviously, speaking of that Pain Train over here, so again, kind of a team name, you might not recognize it whatsoever, but when you look at the player list, you got Pinky Curdy, Guifix, Probusk, Pro Dakari, and Mickey here. So definitely some recognizable names once again. And again, not really a huge surprise that they are here in the finals in the end. So again, seeing what they can do against Nice Prize Pool over here. Okay, Ultimate Legends, the banning phase, Sandwraith going to be coming out there. We've definitely been seeing a bit of him actually being played, but not in this game. So one more ban to go on that side.
Yeah, I like that ban coming out from Creams. Of course, all 3 of the heroes that they already have probably going to be relying on a portal key at least some point in the game, and that Mirage definitely can wreak havoc with it. So, and then, of course, in addition to just the strength of that hero in that mid-game phase, when he's able to get the high mobility and then just hitting very, very strong with that additional true strike damage on something like the Deserted, as you said, definitely a hero that they have been, well, a lot of teams have been playing a lot more recently. So, getting rid of him right here. Not too surprising. And then over here on the Legion side, you were talking about Pain Train real quick. And I wanted to actually point out to people that VDT had actually announced their roster with Pinky Curdy about 2 weeks ago. And then
That's
Pinky
right, yeah.
Curdy decided that he was actually going to make his own team right now. So this team is very, very new. Like within the last week and a half, like the day before the qualifiers, new. Pinky Curdy and Guifix, of course, going back to the original FYKU, which then
Yeah.
became VDT. Probusk, of course, no stranger to the scene. Mickey, known as the number one 15-year-old gauntlet in the world. So these guys definitely have experience, but it's certainly nice to see them going so deep in the qualifiers so quickly.
Yeah, and it is nice, again, just to see more teams in general, very quality teams, so again, with that player list over here. So yeah, although maybe taken away from VDT a little bit, didn't VDT get a new fifth with that said, by the way? I don't know if that's been officially announced by any means.
Support.
Support came back. Okay, so.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Support, at least for Cycle 1. I talked to him yesterday. He said this is the confirmed roster for Cycle 1, so I don't know if that means that maybe there will be changes after Cycle 1, but at least for now, that's their five-man roster.
Well, they also picked up Hackstron, right? So Hackstron finding his new home in VDT. So, yeah, they're okay. So with that said, you were talking about the seedings a little bit. HoNcast.com, I believe it was Blaze actually. He made a post today concerning the seedings and how the qualifiers have been shaping up so far up until today, of course. So those seedings are those actually official seedings, the 1 through 8 seedings?
Yes, those are.
Okay. So that is the case. So as you said, yeah, the winner of this is going to be playing either Team Excellent or Locomotives. And where was VDT on that list? Were they fourth?
VDT's number 4.
4? Okay, yeah. The Lions third, I believe.
Yep.
USA second. It's taken first, of course, yeah.
Yeah, and then going TMSR, IG, Locomotives, Excellent.
Okay. Yeah, so those are the 8 teams, and again, it's funny thinking that we've been casting obviously all these qualifiers and everything, so we haven't been able to see those teams, at least for the most part. Stay Green and TMSR, we did get to see, and IG for that matter, though, recently in the Ultimate Series, and that was a fun, man, Stay Green. Those guys are looking really good all of a sudden, going back into HoN Tour Season 2 now, so they might be my favorite team. I know we've been talking about that a lot. Maybe Lions Esports Club, if any, but I don't know. What I saw to Stay Green the other day, and I'm sure you were even watching, they probably are going to be the favorites, yeah.
I think they are actually up right now 3-1 over Lions in scrims today as well.
Oh, yeah.
So they've definitely been scrimming for the past 4 hours or so, and got opportunity to watch a few of those. And Stay Green definitely looking on form, but Breaky, back to this game, they finally finish up the banning phase, so using up a lot of time right there, which is kind of odd. Since we have been casting this captain's pick, it seems like it goes really, really fast. These teams took a lot of time in the second banning phase right there. Did end up going with Meraxis for that initiator, so kind of what I was talking about. Your second tier type initiator there with Meraxis. They needed something that was going to be able to get a portal key and a stun off, and, well, that's going to fill that role nicely.
Well, was a Flux banned? No, it wasn't, actually. So they did have the option to pick up Flux in the end as far as that Flux Engineer combination instead of maybe the Meraxis, but yeah, they do go the Meraxis, and now with this final pick here, probably going to be more of that short lane carry, which honestly still could be a Flux, but probably not. Probably going to see more of a conventional, but we'll a little bit different. Arachna coming out here with the final pick, actually. And so a lot of the time when we do see an Arachna, we usually see it more as a counter pick as that carry option. Now, you look over here on the Hellborn side, nothing is really standing out as like, oh, yeah, that's why you got Arachna.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. Like you said, the counter pick is somebody that's going to be a melee carry, maybe that Predator, maybe something that just needs to get slowed down and just killed, or a really strong pushing team because that True Strike that's going to be able to hit up hills and break into a base really quickly. And neither of those being the case right now. So Arachna is, of course, going to present a big, hard-hitting threat, but she's also extremely vulnerable. If she's not able to get that carapace off right away, she's going to take a lot of damage at the hands of somebody like this Pebbles. And the Deadwood, they're just going to be able to burst her down very, very quickly. And I'm going to be worried about that lack of mobility. With that being said, the final pick of a Scout right here, Arachna will be kind of nice against that Scout.
Well, yeah, it's a strong final pick. But like you said, it's kind of funny how it just so happens. Well, they kind of picked into that in a sense. And maybe that's where the Legion's logic did come from as well, that the fact that, figuring with their final pick, they needed a suicide option most likely. Obviously, Master of Arms was going to be that support unless they wanted to maybe get another support. So I guess that actually it couldn't have been out of the question. But then the lanes could have been awkward, so maybe that played into what our Legion team was thinking here. But yeah, they wanted to get some carry presence here on on Ultimate Legend side here. Nice prize pool over on the Hellborn side. So And so the Suicide Scout, of course, can accomplish that. But yeah, Arachna going to be fun to watch here. Obviously, with an early Energizer, it can promote a lot of activity, especially with this team as a whole. Arachna is just one of those carries that she's not going to be, obviously, to sit back and take time her farming. And she gets level 6 pretty much, and she starts that. She can start the onslaught with you guys. So looks like
I certainly would hope to see her get active. I mean, we'll sometimes see players go for that Helm of the Dominator and then do a lot of stacking and whatnot, and then trying to kill that way. But without something like a light brand that's going to be able to give you that a little bit more farming presence, she certainly doesn't pose a huge farming threat. Right now, though, 5 members of the Legion team are going to be making their way through the jungle. They're going to scout out this Master of Arms, but without anything to really lead right here, they're not going to go for a kill. There's also already a ward down here from Cream, so making sure that he got some vision. He might be able to spot out Engineer placing a ward here, which could be very big. They could get a counter ward down, but no, at least for right now, we are going to have Pro Dakare fall back into lane without warding.
Yeah, so not going to be happening just yet. Going to sit on that second ward aside of his. Parasite, though, Pinky Curdy, solid jungler player in general, especially with that Parasite. We'll see what he's able to bring to the table in terms of playing that aggressive jungle, and obviously Noodle here on Tempest. Going to have to keep that in mind. Master of Arms Pebbles out that short lane top. We'll see if they can maybe find him, perhaps try to box him out and try to help out that Tempest a little bit. But definitely expecting some good action at the top lane with that said. You see Scout in the meantime. We talk about this, how obviously with that War Beast or whatever, the Keeper of the Forest, you're able to pull that creep over Wild Soul with that minion of yours. But in this case, he's like, you know what? I'm just going to go do it myself here. Arachna, though, kind of cuts it off a little bit, and all of a sudden, we have the lane basically adjusting into the jungle right next to the lane. So kind of awkward there for Scout in the end.
Yeah, he's not really going to be able to get in there too much. He's going to have to break Vanish right now and should take a lot of damage at the hands of Arachna. This is actually going to formulate 2 different creep waves right here. The first one going to be eliminated by the Hellborn side. So Arachna is still going to have really, really good lane position right now. And she should be able to push this the wave back before it gets into the tower. So Proboss should be quite happy with this. And of course, a very adept short lane carry here. He should be able to keep this out of the tower and remain in good position. I feel like he's going to have a pretty rough time in this bottom lane. But right now, actually, Proboss is going to lose some of the lane control as it goes into the tower here.
Oh, we got the top lane, though. Action picking up here. Beef, we got Master of Arms dropping, but Pebbles all of a sudden going to throw out a response, put in some auto attacks, and he's actually chasing them all back. He doesn't even have enough mana for Stalagmites here. He just simply is a right-click threat, and he's going to run all 3 of them backwards. That scares them away, so good presence coming out right there, I guess.
Yelling, "Fear me, I am a giant rock. I will smash you in the head." But they will fall back right there. By the way, that Ward of Sight that was dropped by Pinky Curdy up here should have been spotted by the Ward of Sight from Creams at the top river. So expect maybe a counter ward to be going down there at some point here in the near future. And that's going to be a very important counter ward because the Legion team's going to be relying on that one to try to keep tabs of Tempest. Without any tabs on Tempest, well, they could be in danger up in the top lane of a gank a little bit later on in this laning stage.
Yeah. So Arachna skin, man. This is a Rift Arachna, I take it. So
it's very purple.
Scary, yeah. It's just purple with the webs, I guess, all across it. So
I don't like it.
Yeah, I know. It is kind of weird.
I don't mind the avatar. I'm just very scared of spiders.
Yeah, that's true. I actually like the base skin, but that's actually why exactly I'm not a fan of there's that one skin that's actually like a freaking big spider, and it's just I don't want to deal with that.
Yep. Not a fan.
Yeah. We do have Pinky Curdy, and unfortunately I was kind of wondering what he was doing because he ran right past the regen room. Maybe it was saving it for bubbles in the end, but now he's heading all the way back to base, and clearly that explains it right there. We do have him timing out, so unfortunately falling all the way back to base. You do see some discussion going on in the chat constantly about the server as well. It's just obviously you got Ultimate Legends, or again, nice prize pool over here. They are a US West team, of course, so versus a European team, well, naturally you would have it on USE, so unfortunately for the European players, something have to deal with.
Pretty standard rules here. And, I mean, nothing really has changed there in quite some time, so I don't know what the issue. Every once in a while, we'll have a team that just kind of gets a little bit salty about being European, having to play in US East. It's like, well, that's just the rules, but whatever. Sometimes you got to find something to bitch about.
And then Slicks just laughs.
Yeah, then,
really.
Exactly. Exactly. Speaking of the Australian scene, I think the Australian seasonal is going to be starting pretty soon here, Bricky.
I know nothing about it, so I,
Really?
I remember hearing about it, but I honestly haven't really been following up on it. So I don't know if you have further information on that
No, not
concerning.
really.
But okay. So you were kind of hoping that I did. I see how it is. Um,
Absolutely. I absolutely was hoping. I'm actually going to pull up the thread here on the forums and see if I can figure out when it is actually starting.
yeah,
But I don't know.
isn't it supposed to be kind of like a mini HoN tour for Australia? Like a
Yeah.
it's not necessarily just a one tournament. It's more of like a season kind of format. So I don't know though. I might be completely making that up, but
Yeah, no, I definitely think that it is going to be a seasonal type format here. It looks like the season does start on the 6th of September, so
okay,
still
still some
got a
time.
little
Yeah.
bit of time coming up. I had just been asked multiple times by some of our Down Under fans if I was going to be casting that, so I kind of assumed it would be starting relatively soon here.
Yeah. Yeah, well,
But
that's cool. Obviously, when that
should
starts
be fun.
picking up, but at least keep an eye on how it's going. Can't promise cast necessarily, but especially when we get in the midst of HoN tour. But if the schedule could work out, it wouldn't be out of the question at the same time. So we'll see. We'll see how that event picks up. And on the Australian scene, when we did host qualifiers a while back for that was what 2 DreamHacks ago, maybe the 3 DreamHacks ago even. They'll blend together now. But
Yeah,
when
it
we
was
had
3 DreamHacks ago.
3 DreamHacks ago, yeah, it was.
Whew.
You're right. Yeah, jeez, I know, right? When we had the qualifiers for each of the regions, then one of them was the Oceanic region, of course, for the New Zealand Australia area. So I mean, they were able to bring out some decent teams there. In the end, Frenetic Array at the time, of course, they did win it all to qualify as expected. But there was a couple of teams that were definitely standing out a little bit, and it was fun to kind of see that scene develop. And an event like this, wish them the best of luck, and definitely again keep an eye on it at the very least, and see what kind of talent continues to come out of Australia. Safe to say, again, one of the best players ever in HoN's history has come out of that region. In fact, a couple I could think. I mean, you got Waitalaba. It's definitely a name that rings a bell. Jabba Waba, of course. More old school. Slicks is the one I'm referring to, though, obviously, in the end.
Come on, Dirge Snoopy.
Dirge Snoopy, well, yeah, I mean, he was definitely around for a bit, but I don't know. He was kind of more of a Dota player, I think, in the end, but
Well, he was here for like a year and a half,
he was here actually early on. That's right. That's fair.
so he's always been one of my favorites. One of my favorites. Also going down on the SEA scene, though, of course, Emperor and Nova's teams playing through the SEA qualifiers. They're both very, very close to qualifying into that top league over there as we go into another pause here.
Apparently, yeah, they
Sick.
never said that they were ready, so unfortunately. Yeah, well, he did kind of. Yeah, that's just a little bit of miscommunication there.
Oh, no big deal. They
Yeah.
can take their time.
It was a quick pause right after the fact, so I don't think too much was lost there necessarily. But yeah, they are right. I mean, he did technically say, I'm ready, so. Anywho, once they get back. Tensions are high here, man. There's a lot on the line. These two
There
teams.
is. There is. Of course, the winner of this will be playing Team Excellent, while the loser takes on the Locomotives.
It's like, yeah, is that really though? I mean, it's again, both are definitely tough opponents in the end, so.
Yes.
Let's get it on.
But that is what they're playing for. That's for, of course, the first round. It is a double elimination tournament at the same time, too, keep in mind.
Yep.
Going into the cycles, of course. So, all right, it looks like we are good to go though now. So, back into the game. Again, the aggressive pseudo tri-lane here that was being ran by our Legion side up at the top side with the Engineer Master of Arms, or excuse me, Engineer Moraxis in the line, going up against Master of Arms Pebbles. So far, you look at the creep farm. Moraxis 9-3, Pebbles 9-1. So Pebbles actually managing pretty good despite that Parasite coming out with some fairly early aggression on. Managing decent. And you see Pika running back to base right now with that said.
Yeah, unfortunately, due to that disconnect, started moving kind of down. Not sure if he was going to be doing some rotating anyway, but now even choosing to pick up Striders. So This is not something we typically see out of Parasites these days, oftentimes going for a bit of more aggressive build. Top lane, though, Pebbles in some trouble right here. The turret could be slowing him significantly. Use the Slagmites, but it's not going to be enough. Bloodlust kill coming out there for Pro Dracare and this Legion team.
Well, it's so much slow. Between the turret and the axes right there, Pebbles, even with the Stalagmites trying to get away, it just wasn't going to be. We do see the top lane, Parasite running it with the Striders, but Master of Arms hugging the tower, and the TP comes in, so they're going to choose to back off in the end. But yeah, it was just, it's obviously a tough combination right there. We see it kind of come into play between just the two of Moraxis and to Engineer. A lot of slow, some good locked in as long as that keg can be landed on top of the Earthquake, or the Quake Stun, excuse me. So easy kill in the end set up, but at the same time, good coordination coming out between the two. Yep. Definitely trying to slow down Bloody Knight a little bit here at the top lane. Tempest, though, he might be in some trouble right here. Leech comes out. Engineer putting in the auto attacks. Oh, Bubble's going to cut him off, and Noodle is going to fall. Mickey getting credit for the kill right there.
There you go, Mickey, the 14-year-old. I've been corrected here
14?
On Bubbles. They just keep getting younger and younger, Breaky.
Seems like it, man. That's kind of...
It's just absolutely out of control. Going back to the top lane, though, I mean, the Moraxis Engineer combination, I've always said about this one, it's an extremely defensive lane, but if they hit one of their spells, all their spells are skill shots, pretty much, with the exception of that short-range Quake Stun. If they hit one spell, they will follow up and kill you. And right now, they're going for it one more time. The turret could be coming out. There's the massive slows. 3 different kinds of slows being applied, and they do go down.
Well, it's like they were listening to you right there. They're like, yeah, we'll show you how it's done, actually, so that since you're talking about it, we'll go ahead and execute it to give you something to point at, so... I mean, it's obviously just continues to be a very difficult situation here for that Pebbles, and Tempest not as much of a threat. And you could argue maybe Noodle could try to be a little more active here at the top lane, especially because it is being taken over now by the Legion side, but Noodle insisting on continuing to farm, and even obviously dying earlier on. Bottom lane, we have Garakna going at it with Scout. Scout's going to get the kill. I apologize right there. I kind of only caught the tail end of that, but... Scout.
I mean, that's the power of Scout with these levels in Vanish. Just able to pop out and do all that damage. Back up at the top lane, Parasite in trouble. Final auto from Pebbles going to be able to finish him off. They're still going.
Oh no, Engineer, he's in a lot of trouble now. Miscommunication coming out right there. Engineer stopped chasing. Moraxis still wanted to go after Parasite, even after he Quake stunned Pebbles there to try to save his teammate. But yeah, ends up being a double tap for Pebbles. So what was a one lane here for the Legion side? All of a sudden, Pebbles gets a double tap and starts to get back some lane control. And Tempest is now level 6 as well, so that's going to be a big, big level there, right? As always, of course, coming out there from Tempest. But yeah, back to the bottom lane, though. I mean, Scout, he didn't even need his marksman shot, it looks like. That wasn't even on cooldown, so just simply was able to get the positioning onto Arachna. And in fact, running back in once again right here, and he has that marksman shot. Oh, and he also has Deadwood coming in. This should be a dead Arachna here.
Oh, it absolutely should, and they're going to open with the marksman shot into the Willowmaker, and she just absolutely drops. That's the power of Scout. In this lane, I mean, well, right there, it was most certainly the power of a Willowmaker and a marksman shot, but normally just able to open up, poke her a couple times, 200, 250 damage every time that he opens with Vanish, and if she does not have the regen in time, she either has to back off or play risky and run the chance of dying. In this case, the latter, as this lane is now firmly in the hands of Present 23.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just, I mean, Arachna, nothing that she could do right there. It's just simply an Invis Scout, an Invis Deadwood, the rune control obviously in their favor. I mean, just simply thinking that she's fine in the lane. One second, all of a sudden, she's bursted down to 0 in the matter of a split second right there. So, nothing really much Probus could have done right there, but just kind of get over it. Into the lane, back you go. He's working on finishing that Energizer. And he is level 6 himself, so he does have that Spider Sting presence now. And remember, too, it does reveal stealth, so even with that Scout right there at the top lane, though, we have more action once again. Pebbles saying, get off me, Parasite right there. But that Quake Stun connects. The auto attack's following it up, and Pebbles will fall. But at what cost right here? Moraxis is trying to stay alive. Master of Arms sitting on the acid, making sure to do damage in return. And Parasite gets the counter kill. Falls shortly after, but at least a well played right there by Master of Arms to at least get the counter kill by Creams. And while that was happening, middle lane, Bubbles actually goes down.
Yeah, being taken out there by Deadwood, not even needing the Willowmaker, it looks like. Did Woodyfly actually get any assistance? Yes, he most certainly did from both Pebbles and Scout, it looks like. Did rotate over there. And, well, easy kill onto that poor little Bubbles when you bring 3. But once again, a nice job up top from Master of Arms. He almost got that kill on Meraxis, but the mana battery and the bottle charge is keeping him 2 up. And then knowing that he was going to go down, choosing to use the charge shot onto the Parasite right there and hoping that the creeps would finish him off. It did happen. Bubbles in the middle lane once more in trouble. Going to shell surf away with a nice kelp field. You guys get out of there, so good job to Mickey.
It was a big set of the kelp field as well as the side. Hell, all of his abilities. He did a good job actually coordinating all those abilities right there. You see me even take covering against the marksman shot was being channeled on him. So kind of a just in case. That's the fun thing about that ability. You can constantly harass with it, even with the sting and invis. You can just kind of act like you're going to be shooting them. Top lane, though, Engineer and Meraxis in trouble right here. Tempest coming in, he has the ultimate. Remember, Meraxis misses the Quake Stun right there. And his partner ends up just dropping very, very quickly. In the meantime, Master of Arms actually going to do a counter ward right here to kind of protect their jungle as well as the lack of vision now on the Legion side. So good collapse right there. Tempest able to assist once again, and it seems like he is starting to be more and more active. Noodle is farming about 300 gold per minute, has Ring of Sorcery. Ring of the Teacher, still no boots on him, but back to the top lane. Pebbles actually going to get collapsed on by Parasite and Meraxis. Barely stayed alive though. Master of Arms trying to assist. Parasite diving on top of Pebbles right here. Pebbles sees the Master's Call, though, going to be applied. And now Parasite actually, he might be in some trouble right here. He needs to be careful. His auto attacks doing so much damage. And Peaky Curdy on the run, the Chuck to finish him off. Meraxis chasing Tempest in the meantime. The quick stick goes out. And here comes a spider sting from Meraxis. The one shot to finish off Tempest. Going to go for Master of Arms now. There's a second kill. Double tap coming out. Pebbles able to at least Homecoming Stone away. Chaos, man, here at the top lane.
They are just loving the kills up there, and I gotta say, that was looking really bad for the Legion team. Master of Arms was able to get the charge shut off, but then in came Arachna. Arachna and Engineer, mostly pro-busk here on the Arachna, saving the day. Able to turn those around so that it was not a catastrophic failure, but still, the Hellborn team is looking pretty good in terms of the resources. Deadwood has been just free farming as well as getting a couple kills, sitting at 360 gold per minute in the middle lane. If he's not tended to in the next couple of minutes, he's going to have a portal key, which is going to be very, very rough news for the Arachna. So I'd like to see the team try to take advantage. And there's the kelp field in the middle lane. Deadwood is definitely in trouble. There's the slows coming out from Arachna. And, well, will it be enough? Yes, Defensive Master's Call is not going to be enough. Oh, the turret and the keg does finish off Deadwood. So good job making sure to delay that PK.
Well, you know, obviously, one of the best items in the game in general, but also especially against Arachna, is that Homecoming Stone. But it just so happened not enough time in the end for Deadwood to ultimately get away right there, even with that Defensive Master's Call. So good collapse there, and that's, again, it's as you just mentioned, it seems like this team's listening in. As you're bringing up a point, and sure enough, they execute on it as they collapse on a Deadwood right there, making sure that he will not get too out of hand at least. So he's going to slow him down for the portal key. We do see the bottom lane, and Scout might be in some trouble now. Spider Sting is ready to go. Could he get in range, though? No, he cannot. Scout actually using that advantage. He's going to go for the Homecoming Stone port, and he will get away. But Scout obviously knows with that Spider Sting, he is very vulnerable to ganks now. With Arachna, especially if she has a teammate. So well played. Top lane now. Meraxis gets the Matrix out, but he has 3 people. The elemental fight's going to be used right there. Kegson comes out, will eventually cancel it. And actually, they're going to go for a turnaround right here. I don't know if that's the best choice, honestly. They do have Parasite, though, coming in, so maybe it is in the end. Pebbles, oh, he gets the Demon the Master call off just after the face hug. Gets chucked away, kills his own teammate right there. On Meraxis, Scout chasing it as well. Gets the second kill on a Parasite, and now Engineer on the run himself. He should be fine, or will he? Scout is going to dive the tower right here. Use that vanish. He's going to run beyond it, though, and Engineer kind of trapped in a rock and hard place. In the meantime, Bubbles will get the kill on the Tempest. This is still not over, though, Beef. I mean, they're probably going to get dope here big time.
They most certainly might, but before that happens, I gotta say that turnaround from Meraxis was really questionable in my opinion. No, they're going in. There's the poor man's portal key of Master of Arms. The keg gonna go out onto Pebbles here as the kelp field comes in. Gonna get finished off. There's the Song of the Sea to take out Master of Arms. And now it's gonna be Scout versus Bubbles. The tower gonna be lending a hand here. And a good move backward there from Bubbles. Here comes Meraxis. Will he get the axes out? Not even gonna try. I don't know what's going on in this game, Breaky. This is insane.
We already have 23 hero kills in 12.5 minutes. These teams are definitely delivering when it comes to just keeping the action up and keeping the pace of this game going. But, you know, the funny thing about the very end of that fight right there, though, was the fact that the port in from Meraxis, I mean, it's obviously made sense in the end, but it did stop the damage from happening on a Scout, and it gave him nearly a chance to freely get a kill on the Bubbles, but it just wasn't enough time, and obviously decided to fall back as Meraxis ported in. But yeah, it was pretty close right there, and that could have actually been pretty good if he ended up getting the kill in the process. But Not to be. In the meantime, Arachna picking up a Beast Heart. So actually very interested to see what he turns that into. I know HoN the Black Legion isn't completely out of the question, as he is going to turn around on a Devil right here. Devil going uphill. Doesn't have any vision. He completely runs into a gang squad right there. In the meantime, in the background, Master of Arms, one more auto attack. Barely staying alive. Here comes Tempest off to the side. Bubbles, though. He's going to fear him off, and that will be the end of that. But that was Deadwood being pretty reckless right there.
Yeah, when you don't, when it's one, nighttime right now, and two, you don't have any vision up that hill, that is extremely dangerous. And well, that one definitely backfired in his face. For this Deadwood, I mean, you got to be looking for that portal key, and you can't be taking too big of risks right now until you're able to get that item. That's going to be what enables you to make those big plays. Right now, you just got to play a little bit more safe. But back into this Helm of the Black Legion or the Elder Parasite pickup. Oh, I can't talk. There's action up at the top lane. His Engineer's going to have to drop a keg here. Does get comboed out by Pebbles, but he's going to be able to survive for now. The Forked Lightning going to miss as well. His Engineer is running away. Pebbles is so slow.
Love it.
Oh,
I love that. Again, the slope between the two is ridiculous, but that was well played by Pro Dakari. I don't know who this guy is, honestly. I haven't really seen him too much, but that was a very, very well-played Engineer right there, and I'm sure you could definitely agree with that. Now, the counter kill going to be coming out right here. At least the attempt from Bubbles coming out. Pebbles gets the defensive match call. The combo from Pebbles, and down goes Bubbles. Miraxis jumps in, though. They will set up the kill, but at what cost once again? Engineer, he falls. It is a 1 versus 2 right now. Make that a 1 versus 3. Matrax is up. There's the explosion. Trying to at least get the kill on a Master of Arms. Gets caught in the grass, though. He's not going to be able to finish him off. Puts the Arcane Shield up. There's the Quake Sun. Is this guy actually going to be enough? He did get the Arcane Shield proc. He has the movement speed as a result. He's actually running away. Are you serious? Is he going to live right here?
He's got to dodge
Scout
the
does
grass.
have a marksman shot as well. Yeah, Here comes the grass. It catches. Nice Quake Stun. Maybe a turn kill chance. Nope, not going to happen. Man, the kills, they don't stop.
No, they don't. And once again, right there, we actually saw the weakness of the Matrix. Normally, we talk about the strength of that. But right there, when it does explode, it, of course, doesn't amount based on the like the charge of the shield, which if it's been absorbing a lot of damage, it does next to no damage. And when he went for the turnaround earlier in that top lane, it did no damage when he was going for the turnaround because he had taken so much. Top lane, though, Master of Arms going to take at least some pressure here as the Legion team are just trying once again to get more kills. These guys don't know how to stop, Ricky.
It's it's just turn on and don't turn off. And I will say that's something about a lot of these teams that are qualifying here. Really, even Ole teams in the Diamond Division that qualified throughout this tournament. We might not know a lot of them when it comes down to the team names, at least. Again, in this case, we recognize a lot of the players for the most part, but they are newer teams and everything. But it seems like they are not afraid to play aggressive in the end. And that's what's going to be the most entertaining for me, at least, going into that Cycle 1 especially and seeing what they're going to bring to the table in that Diamond competition. But, yeah, just another case right here. We, again, already have 28 hero kills in 16 minutes. And I don't think it's going to be stopping. I mean, neither team is really built around, okay, let's now completely slow down the game and try to get to that next stage. I mean, they both are very aggressive lineups, really, when you look at it. So
yeah,
I think it's just going to keep up. Helm of the Black Legion is finished, by the way, in Arachna, so he does go that route.
Okay. So, yeah, I was thinking it might be an Elder Parasite right there. But Helm of the Black Legion, when you're going up against Deadwood and Pebbles, this is definitely a decent item to go for, getting her up to about 1,450 life when she hits over to those steam boots, which is pretty damn formidable. I mean, to be honest, at 16 minutes here, obviously taking her health very, very seriously. And this is the way that she's going to have to play this Arachna at this point. So like that one, and of course, the team around Probusk has been generating plenty of space so that Arachna has been able to free farm up to nearly 400 gold per minute. And when you compare that to the other team, I mean, nobody else is really taking off that much. So Arachna can be pretty dang deadly.
Wow. Okay, you know what just happened, though? 3 portal keys were purchased, I believe. One on Tempest, one on Pebbles, one on Deadwood. They were all purchased basically at the same time right there by the Hellborn team. So talk about some timing, some window of opportunity here for the Hellborn team. It just doesn't get much better than that. They now have 3 portal keys all of a sudden. They might be showing 1 or 2 of them, but if you're the Legion side right here, the fact that all 3 of them are old second have portal keys, we'll see if that catches them off guard. Now, speaking of that, Bubbles, he responds with one of his own, so we're obviously getting to that stage in the game now. Seeing those portal keys being picked up. But also, real quick, I wanted to touch on Pinky Curdy here on this Parasite, especially with there already being 13 kills for his team and how active this game has been. He only has 5 assists. He's died 4 times. You know, his start hasn't been the best, and it really feels like that momentum at the beginning of the game, it just, you know, it wasn't working, whether it's the DC or whatnot. He's kind of falling apart. We'll see if he can recover. But meantime, Bubble's going to be locked down. Elemental 40 even uses the face that comes out a little bit late, though. Here's that comment from Bubbles. He takes the Engineer as soon as he comes in. Bubbles already did as well, but the Spider Sting is applied. Pebbles dropping quickly. Demon's Master's Call going to be used on him. Trying to keep him alive a little bit longer. Not going to be enough, though, and he will fall. Arachna going for the turn, but it looks like they are spread out.
She's got to be really careful right now.
They're going to go in.
Tempest is going to go in. Yeah, there's the Glacial Blast immediately. The Willowmaker and Arachna, that Helm of the Black Legion, is not going to save you there. I find it a little bit questionable that she was still up there, knowing that they had only been able to get 1 kill, and she was not going to have support. So Provost just overextending a bit there. And that's really unfortunate, because up until this point, he has been relatively safe. He definitely had some momentum. They came out of that team fight not looking super bad. But after that death, I mean, the momentum definitely in favor of this Hellborn team. And Astrolabe, I think, was just purchased right there on Tempest, and they're just going to continue getting bigger and bigger items now.
Yeah, again, though, but just to touch back on Parasite real quickly, is, you know, he's still trying to finish that Codex. You mentioned he went to Striders right away. And I think for Pinky Curdy, that may be, you know, not out of the question for himself, but again, the way the game was going, it's almost like he felt like he had to. It just wasn't the start that they were looking for. They tried to get a kill early on. It didn't work, remember? And then the lane started to go back in the Hellborn team favor. Just a lot of back and forth. Now they're trying to find Scout right here. But Scout, obviously, with that Vanish being very difficult with that. Dust is going to be used, so they will spot him right here. Scout ends on top of the face that comes out. And this should be a kill. Yes, so well played. I mean, I don't even know how he got that information, but randomly does it.
Saw him actually walk by the Ward of Revelation there. That's
okay.
right
Yeah,
under
I thought
the
that
camp.
was a site for some reason. Okay. That
Yeah,
makes sense.
that one, he saw it about 5 seconds earlier, and then was able to get the dust off right there. They do manage to bring home a kill in the bottom lane as well onto Deadwood.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, taking back at least some of that momentum. Now the gold lead now evened up pretty effective. Well, never mind. There's a tower.
And it's back in favor of the Hellborn team. It's very minimal, though,
Yeah.
at the same time. What is Arachna going to be going here, though? He went to Helm of the Black Legion, so wanted to bulk up a little bit, and understandably so. You are dealing against what's just in general has been an aggressive game. So, but I wonder if he's going to go the Firebrand, or maybe going to even go the Nullifier Blade here with that quick blade.
I'm pretty sure it'll be a Firebrand into either a Geobane or a Searing Light. The Geobane is going to be more of a fight now item. The Searing Light is going to be more of a farming item. But I'm pretty sure that's going to be a Firebrand. The Nullifier just doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. Well, I mean, it could, but probably not.
Yeah, it's probably not in the end. So you do see, and you know, when it comes to the slow effect of the Nullifier Blade, although still powerful, you know, he does have his own web shot to take care of that purpose. So
This Legion team has plenty of slow.
yeah, we've already seen that. We're going to see a little bit more of it right here. They catch Master of Arms. Good portal key from Meraxis. So hell, another one in this game. We have, what, 5 portal keys in total now, and wouldn't be surprised to even see more. But Meraxis doing a good job right there, catching Master. And Arachna continuing to farm in the lane
Yeah,
now.
this Arachna is definitely a threat right now. She's hitting hard. She's tanky enough. She's about to have that Firebrand. She could finish it right now if she wanted to, which is going to give her some additional mobility. Once she gets that Geometer's Bane, she's not going to be even easily comboed by 2 players. Even if you put the Deadwood and the Pebbles, she might be able to survive that. There's the Firebrand purchase for that mobility. So I don't know, but right now they're going to go on her. Willowmaker is going to be used. A keg is going to be getting in there as well, but the marksman shot will connect, and she will get blocked down by the creeps. Counter kill going to be tried, but no, Parasite going to get comboed right here. Parasite going to try to get away with a face hug, but that's not going to happen. Elements of Void going to be catching 2, as well as Meraxis and Engineer are likely going to die. Bubble's going to be coming in, but it's just too little too late.
Ouch.
4 players dead. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
if Bubbles was maybe able to get there 5 seconds earlier or something like that, then that could could have been a little bit different. But another big part of that fight was the jump onto Arachna. Engineer did, again, a great job of reacting to it right away. He happened to be right there, threw out that keg. But Arachna's Spider Sting was basically 2 seconds away from being off of cooldown. And, not to say that that would have been, the ultimate difference maker. But if she was able to at least get that off, they could have perhaps set up an easier counter kill. And then maybe that whole onslaught at the very end wouldn't have happened. But at the same time, well executed by our Hellborn side. They do get the big Tempest ultimate, of course, from Noodle. And this very likely could set up a Kongor kill. Yeah, he is dropping pretty fast, and I don't see the Legion team getting here even remotely in time. So this should be a free Kongor kill, and that's a token of life you'll probably have to deal with now.
Yeah.
I would be surprised actually if it goes on Pebbles here, but probably Scout, I would think.
It definitely could go on one of the initiators.
It's on Scout, it looks like.
No, it will be on Scout, though. I wouldn't have minded actually seeing it on somebody like that Pebbles, but Scout maybe just a little bit too farmed up right now. They don't want to sacrifice that. But speaking of that Scout in the bottom lane, I think even more importantly than the Spider Sting was the keg that went out to stun Deadwood while Arachna was being locked down. Unfortunately, was just a millimeter off and didn't stun Scout to prevent the marksman shot from going off, which was a very large amount of damage being dealt. If that had stunned Scout, I think Arachna might have been able to get out of there.
That's true,
But unfortunately, the targeting not quite perfect. And I mean, you certainly can't blame Pro Dakari for that one. Sometimes very, very hard to hit those in the moment. You're just trying to do whatever you can to help your teammate out. But in the end, the Hellborn team has a pretty substantial advantage now, but the Legion by no means out of this game. They're just going to have to sit back a little bit more and play a little bit more passive. That Kongor especially is going to be making the Legion try to reconsider their plans for at least the next 6 minutes or so.
Yeah, it's easy to say but hard to do, and we see right here why. Scout moving around. He's level 16 now. He just picked up a Brutalizer as well. Scout has he has just stepped up big time. Nearly 400 gold per minute all of a sudden, but a lot of it just comes down to he's 9, 1, and 4 in hero kill. So his creep farm isn't even the most impressive. It's just been the fact that he's been hunting heroes here. And he may be going for another one. That could be Arachna, as he's going to try to see if there's anyone nearby. He finds Arachna. Deadwood is here, but he just doesn't want to risk it. He's going to put the Electric Eye down, kind of continue to scout things out, living up to his name there. So not going to try to take that jump here in the end. But yeah, it's going to be a difficult game here, to say the least, for the Legion side. And you do see a Mighty Blade picked up by Probusk. Again, nothing wrong with that. Whether it's going to be, I assume it's going to be a Shrunken Head. I mean, Frostburn seems like it is a little silly on Arachna. But even a Shrunken Head, is that going to do the most for you in the end? I mean, you got a Tempest that still goes through. You got a lot of physical presence between Scout and Deadwood. I don't know if it's going to be the biggest pickup, honestly. I think Geometer Spin might be the best choice here, even over Shrunken in this case.
Yeah, I think I might have to agree with you. It's going to give you a little bit more raw tank potential. It's going to give you a little bit more damage. And then you're still going to get the effects of something like negating that marksman shot or being able to cleanse the glacial blast without taking the stun. You will, of course, still be stunned by things like the charge shot and the pebble stalagmites, but those you've got to just worry a little bit more about positioning. A lot of those spells are just going to go straight through the Shrunken Head, like you were talking about. The Elemental Void, the Scout Silence, the Willowmaker. And so I kind of agree with you. This one is maybe not the best pickup right here, but it is kind of something that might be considered necessary. You don't want to have to get it, but if you don't get it, you will probably get stunned down and killed.
Yeah.
Even if you do get it, you'll probably still get stunned down and killed.
That's the thing, though. Yeah, it's like, okay, so unless you're using it before Pebbles jumps you, which is the chances of that, honestly, is pretty unlikely. Is it worth it in the end? That's the one ability. The Stalagmites is basically the big ability that you're getting a Shrunken Head for in this game. So I just don't know if I like the choice in the end. I just feel like it's rare. I never really say that or even think about it, but this game it just seems like Geometer Spain could have been the more efficient choice here. But in the end, again, he looks like he is going to be going for the Shrunken Head. So we'll see what UC is able to make out of it.
For me, this actually doesn't come down to item choice. This comes down to the hero choice. The Arachna it didn't seem to fit into this lineup super well, and I think this was the final pick for the Legion team.
It was, yeah.
You already knew 4 out of the 5 heroes of your enemy. You already knew all the rest of your team. And I just don't really see the Arachna fitting into this one super well. Even if you're going to be at 500, 600 GPM, it's still just probably not doing the job as good as some other heroes could be. At this point, the Legion team, they are sitting back. You can see all four of them grouped up right now in the middle lane. They're afraid, very, very afraid. They haven't been able to get as much map vision up as they'd be comfortable with. And as a result, the Hellborn team's just going to continue to expand upon this resource lead because they can farm wherever they want with impunity.
Yeah. I also want to clarify real quickly that I noticed I did get a whisper earlier on before I went on D&D, and I know there still might be some confusion. This is not Absolute Legends, just to clarify that. And it's I am right to say that they are Ultimate Legends, at least that's what they're going by in the Alienware tournament. I mean, they do have a call. President 23. He has been a part of AL.
Yes.
And I believe Noodle at least a little bit, but Cream's obviously he did leave the team a while ago. And other than that, nothing else really. So, just to kind of clarify, that it is not the actual Absolute Legends team. But anyways, we have a big initiation right here. Dewa jumps into the first base. A lot of chaos in the midst of it. Tampa's going to get the ultimate off finally on top of Meraxis right there. It seems like the Hellborn team is in the favor of this fight right now, but will that hold is the question. Meraxis is going to fall. Ports are coming. It looks like right now. As soon as he ports in, though, he gets combat right there. He gets the Spider Sting off at his scalp, but it's just not going to matter, it looks like. Or it will, actually. They get the kill, but GG well played. So in the big picture, it doesn't matter. So just like that. Going on about something else, and before you know it, the game's actually over with the initiation right there. So I don't know. That seemed a little early, but at the same time, yeah, maybe not. It was starting to get out of hand.
I don't think that one was personally early. They had a really nice team and a really nice start for the most part of that game, but then the Arachna pick, once those portal keys did get online, it just kind of showed the inefficiency of an immobile hero that's not going to have somebody like an Accursed or a Jereziah behind it that's just going to be able to give that magic immunity. And without some kind of a mobility or an escape mechanism, she just is too easily targeted down by all those heavy burst damage heroes. And in this case, the Hellborn team was able to capitalize on that immobile carry, and they were able to take game number 1.
That they are. So well played there from Nice Price Pool, deserving of that victory. And again, a very entertaining game. Even more reason why I'm just so excited to see teams like this going into that Diamond Division. But